Now we're live. All right, so we had this push up to that all-time high, that big drop where silver prices dropped 38% in one day. That ended up creating a second impulse. We call that a second impulse of the price action. That very well might be the low. We'll see what happens as next week progresses, because today is the last day, so probably won't see much more price action for the rest of the day, simply because it's Friday going into the weekend. But this second drop could call for a retest of this old trend line. So we'll, like I say, in the next week we'll see how it unfolds. But currently, consolidating between these two pivot points, between 70 and 84, $85, 86. But it makes sense. That was the high back before this last long push from December. With gold prices, similar price action, just not creating lower lows, butting up against this resistance at 5,100 recently. Next week, I do expect it to make a decision whether it's going to come back and retest that long-term trend line, which stems back from all the way to October. So that trend line there is the inner trend line. And then we have two outer trend lines. These run back from even longer, like from October 2023. And so those are also possible support lines in the time that we're in. I hesitate to think that we're going to be coming back to test these for quite some time. We can see that the ATR volatility as measured by the ATR has really settled down. In fact, that ATR volatility has dropped by 57% since all of this hockey stick and whiplash action. So that calls for another movement. Whether it goes down or up, we don't know. We can't tell that by the ATR, but given the times we are in, I'm thinking that we'll be going up. Gold-silver ratio is still hovering fairly high at 64%. It's going to be a while before we see that drop, I think. Simply because silver's probably not, well, who knows? It might rise up fast. That ratio, though, what we're looking for is that 20 to 15 mark. That's when I would recommend you start selling silver. Or at least start using it for things within fiat. Simply because it'll be quite maxed out. The prices still may rise while this equalizes around 15. And who knows, if people really do end up subscribing to the matrix as hard as they possibly can with the digital IDs, they could remanipulate this silver market. So who knows? US 30 today still consolidating underneath that all-time high. It did test pretty hard, went deep into this consolidation zone. So we'll see next week whether or not it maintains this momentum that we've been seeing. Oh, now I'm yawning. The gold prices and silver prices, gold and silver prices having barely moved from yesterday. I'm not going to redo the calculation on the US 30 in valuation to the silver and gold. Leave that alone for now. Over into the, Japanese markets, they've been still pushing up all-time highs. And a lot of Japanese bankers went to jail last week because of this manipulation. That's the thing about Japan, is that There's some honor still in that nation. Sense of honor. Bitcoin price is still consolidating between that all-time low, and we got 70,000 or so. That's where we're noticing some resistance. We have completed an ABCD pattern, good old Elliott wave. And so now we need to move A to B, and we're waiting for C and D to show up. This is a reversal. This is a technical reversal where we have now gone beyond the weekly C. So it's a reversal on the daily chart. It's not a reversal on the weekly chart yet. The weekly chart market structure is at just around $50,000. In Bitcoin dominance, we are definitely hanging out below that trend line. Under the 59% mark now. Oh, right. I might need to have a nap. Just a quick snooze.
Or food.
Yeah, maybe. Bitcoin against gold, still dropping. Still dropping. Over the last few days, it's been consolidating, but overall, that trend is very strong. Getting cheaper and cheaper to buy Bitcoin with gold. Ethereum definitely hanging out below the pivot point here, that major support. But again, when we're looking at the weekly chart, this is where we need to zoom out a little bit. We're still within market structure. This trend line here is strong. We'll see what happens as the days go by. Next week again, I think we'll see some more volatility, just because we have there's a lot of stuff that's been happening. In fact, I'm going to bring up some of this news here. Let's go grab this and put it over here. Can I do that? Yep. And I just need to put it in here. Where did it go? Yeah. Institutional money does not wait for retail confirmation. They're positioning now. So White House official Patrick Witt says
The only thing that I can see is your background.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There you are.
That'll help. So this is Watcher Guru. This is a good channel to watch just to see, this is where a lot of announcements about who's buying what get posted. White House official Patrick Witt says there are trillions of dollars of institutional capital on the sidelines waiting to enter the crypto market. Trillions. A couple months ago, Charles Hoskinson from Cardano said the same thing. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for the fear to be at its peak. So as they watch the people get more and more fearful, they buy more and more. But outside of that, Virtual Bacon had a good post here today. Top events in crypto from the last 24 hours. In Bitcoin, Standard Chartered slashes 2026 Bitcoin target. So they were saying we target $100,000 Bitcoin, but that we are warning a $50,000 dip. Well, you coincide that with the actual chart. Can I switch that over? That does not switch over, does it?
No.
Okay, well, we were just talking, we were just looking at the chart here. There we go.
Yep.
How Bitcoin market structure is 50,000. So just like they're saying it could very well go down to here. Yes, it could very well. Whether it does or not, yet to be determined. But they are saying that we'll be back up to 100,000 by the end of the year. Well, I think it'll be a lot more than that, but that's the announcement they're making. Let's go back to Opera. There we go.
Is that predictive programming?
Probably. JP Morgan predicts 77,000 Bitcoin rebound on mining reset dynamics. Well, that's an important aspect of this because mining is where Bitcoin makes its money, right? That's how it gets produced and put into circulation, is through miners. They have to go and mine it. But if Bitcoin prices go down too far, the profitability of mining goes down, which then reduces the amount of miners, which then increases the capacity for the big tech companies to take up that process of mining. So the acquisition still happens at the lower price ranges, but eventually it won't go down lower. It was a year ago that the cost of mining a Bitcoin was $40,000. Just the electricity to mine one Bitcoin. So that's why the price is so high. It's mostly because of electricity, which is also another figment of our imagination. That's why, to me, like Bitcoin, oh, great, wonderful, what a neat little technology. But who would want to have a storehouse of value that's backed by mere electricity? Especially when we're going into an age where the generation of electricity can be done by the individual. The price of Bitcoin would literally drop to nothing if the cost of electricity goes down. Because the only reason why miners get paid is because they're burning electricity.
And isn't there kind of like a profit cost balance that needs to be there? I mean, if it costs $40,000 in electricity and the Bitcoin is only worth 100, okay, yeah, that's 60 grand. That's really nice, but you're still paying 40 grand to get that 160.
Yep. And you know what? It's worth it, but what happens is that when that margin gets lower and lower and lower, the smaller miners can't compete.
Yeah, no.
Right? And then they just say, well, we'll wait until things are better, till the prices are better. Well, but by the time that occurs, another miner is taking up all of that Bitcoin at the lower prices.
Uh-huh.
So it
just sounds like another fiat currency.
That's all it is.
Backed by nothing.
But the belief of the value of electricity. People think electricity is worth X because people are paying for it.
At X.
But with micro generation of electricity, now the grid can't demand the price that they just change.
I wonder if that micro generation will be available for folks who are in townhouses and apartments and things, or if that's just for freestanding.
It'll be interesting to see, when we can draw energy out of the ether itself. What does the unit that gathers that look like? And apparently, and I haven't tested it, but apparently there was a gentleman who drove a stake into the ground that allowed him to capture the differential of electricity between Earth and the sky. and that produced enough electricity for him to run his farm.
I've heard of an earth battery before, and that's much what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Is where you have a copper stake and you have a zinc stake relatively close together, and you wire them up, and it produces energy.
Wouldn't surprise me. And I think we're going to see a huge emergence of all of that simply because of the astronomical demand of electricity that these data centers are pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think about it. In the next 5 years, they anticipate that the electricity consumption of data of all of North America will go up 6% more than it normally does, simply because how much is being processed by data.
Huh.
So and electricity prices, by the way, they are incredibly volatile. I used to work at ANC, Alberta Newsprint Company, and they had the power prices literally on a ticker on the wall. You had to look at it all the time. It was like a pervasive thing, and it would fluctuate. It would fluctuate all over the place. It would be down like $80 a megawatt, and then 2 hours later, it'd be $1,000 a megawatt. Because at that level, when you're using it at enterprise level electricity like that, because you're processing, like they were processing pulp, right? And so
Yeah.
they used electric motors to break down the chips, the wood chips, down into a pulp. And then they used electricity for pumps. They used electricity for heat exchangers. They were using electricity for everything. And they actually ended up having to create at the Alberta Newsprint Company, where they just make paper for newspaper. That's all they do, is make paper for newspaper. And yellow pages, like the really thin paper, right? So that facility ended up building its own power plant simply because if the price of electricity went beyond $1,000 a megawatt, they were not profiting by selling the paper. So they sold the power back to the grid. They would literally shut down. The siren would go off and everybody would stop what they were doing. Turn off your machines. You're consuming electricity. And they just kept the lights on so we could see. Typically speaking, the dryers would turn off because if it went above, it probably wasn't going to go down for a while. So they would turn off the dryers, and if the prices were too high and they were selling power, the workers would go down and do some of the cleaning down in the dryers when it was cooler. That's how much power, like the power companies, the volatility of those prices. When you're looking at Bitcoin, you have to take that all into account. You have to average that out. Well, there are moments in power consumption at that enterprise level where it's just, you know what, we like, what are we gonna how are we gonna mine Bitcoin? The price of the electricity is beyond the threshold of what we would get paid back on the market for Bitcoin. So they have to regulate how they do their power consumption as well. They don't get a monthly bill like we do where it averages out. We get, like, when we get a power bill as in residential, it's just averaged out over the year. The price you pay is averaged out over the year, and yeah, it's been going up and up and up. But if you had to pay market prices, you could have bills where you got billed $1,000 for 1 month's worth of electricity, and then the next month it could be 20. Who knows? Because it all boils down to how volatile was it and what was the season, right?
Well, that's reminds me of when getting my initial electricity contract. They really wanted me to stay on the variable rate, and I was like, "Yeah, thanks. No, I'd really prefer the fixed rate," and that's so
Yep.
far served me well.
Yep. Yep. And then Bitcoin slips to 66,000 that was talking about that low as risk off sentiment returns amid US inflation concerns. So how I was saying, like when there's more problems with dollars, people start to pull their money out of these assets. So Bitcoin drops because of that fear. In the altcoin world, Goldman Sachs cuts Bitcoin ETFs holdings. Now, uh, Bitcoin isn't an altcoin, but they cut the ETF holdings by 39%, but then they turned around and added 153 million to XRP and 108 million to Solana ETFs. So they moved their ETFs from Bitcoin, the gold standard of the digital currencies, over to two primary altcoins. That is very telling. Wrapped Bitcoin.
Could that possibly be a predicator of alt season?
Yeah. Again, they don't make these movements lightly.
No,
And they're not, and you know, you think about it, the ETFs. Let's go back to this here. This green arrow is when they first launched ETFs. So the price coming down, it makes sense for them to sell those ETFs. They're still in profit from the very first ones. They're still up 46%. Now they bought and sold as these waves went on, but even if they just had like a major housing, a major pile of ETFs, they're up 60% from where they launched. Is that right? Yeah, 62%. So they're saying, hey, let's take out some of this Bitcoin ETFs and let's go put it into XRP. Well, where's XRP? At a new low. Right? Solana also. Oh, that's the weekly chart. Let's go to the daily. It's at lows. This is a significant support here. So they're timing their moves very, very carefully. Bitcoin is down, but it's still up. Their ETFs are up. They went into Bitcoin during this time, I think, because they knew that that was the gold standard. As the price comes down, they recognize the same thing I do about Bitcoin dominance, that when dominance drops, altcoins go up. Well, what just happened last week? February 5th, specifically, that price, or the dominance was, you know, let's go zoom in a little bit. You can see just how big of a movement this was. The volatility, remember, this is letting us know what's the range of that price action. So we see that price action rise. So we were consolidating back and forth here. This volatility in the dominance of Bitcoin dropping below that long-term trend line, that's a perfect opportunity. Now we've got a confirmation even, because it drops. Look at what happened. It came back up and it could not regain position above that trend line. So the trend is here. We are noticing Bitcoin dominance faltering. So of course they're going to switch their Bitcoin ETFs over to altcoin ETFs, because the alts are getting more dominance. We watched The Big Short last night, Maureen. Have you seen that movie? That is a nail biter. And you don't think that a movie about finance is, you know, it's going to be super brainy and all that, but it's a nail biter. You are riveted.
Awesome. Chills.
Yep. So yeah, these guys are, of course they're going to get the altcoins. Next.
Wait.
Wrapped. Oh yeah.
I'm oh gosh, I wasn't on mute. I'm still dollar cost averaging with Bitcoin. Should I not do that anymore, Paul?
Yeah, continue.
Oh, really?
Continue. And I would also stock up on some more ADA.
Okay.
Midnight. Inside your exchange, though, given that they moved a bunch of their ETFs, they know what's going on. If they're moving their ETFs from Bitcoin into XRP and Solana, you might, in your exchange, swap out some Bitcoin and get some Solana.
So, okay, in my exchange, I just have what I have. I guess what I'd have to do is transfer from River because all they do is deal in Bitcoin. I do want to put that, I want to put a lot of that in a wallet. So maybe this Monday we can do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's configure your wallet so that it's
Then
yeah, and then you can we might also, if you wanted to, we could set you up with a decentralized exchange. Then you can send your Bitcoin to the decentralized exchange and it'll automatically change it over to Solana, but you don't have to use a centralized exchange. So now it's a private exchange. We can explore that.
yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's explore Bitcoin because I'm thinking, yes, I'm doing that because I started it, and so now it's like on its own little have its own little life. But maybe I should be dollar cost averaging in ADA. I don't know. I'm not dollar cost averaging that much, but $100, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's let's go to CoinMarketCap. Honestly, CoinMarketCap, when you are when we're going through this, anything that's within cookies, anything that's within the top 20 is going to do very, very well. So, Bitcoin's right there, number 1. Ethereum, number 2, of course. XRP is number 4 underneath Tether, which is just the US dollar, right?
Yeah.
So XRP is number 4. Solana, number 7. And
ADA is in there. Yeah.
Yeah, ADA is number 11. It was number 10 for a long time. But then Bitcoin Cash, which is another private Bitcoin, if it's a fork off of Bitcoin, that there is edged up above Cardano recently in market capitalization.
I just had my taxes done yesterday, so I worked all day on taxes, and I'm telling you, and then I had my appointment, and it was like 3. But what was good is that I got a real education because I got a new tax guy because my other guy passed away, and I had him for like 45 years. I knew him really well. I actually loved him. He's just a friend. And he did that. He was just friends with people. And this guy has the same kind of modus operandi, but he's very, he's very tight, where Mike was like, a cannonball.
Oh, yeah.
So it's okay. It doesn't really matter. But I did learn so I've been really involved with finances for the last 3 or 4 days, just trying to get everything in order for my tax return. And he made it a lot simpler, and he gave me some little tips. So I saw a cryptocurrency, but I did not say anything about cryptocurrency. So
yeah.
I'm not putting myself in the market. But if I take everything out of River, I can do that. I don't know. I don't even know how to do it because I've never done it.
Yeah, but it all boils down to the role. It all boils down to the role or the identifier that you're using when you move that money.
Well, I'm in a very tight, fiat. I'm trying to break out of it, but it's really pressing in hard. I can feel it very heavy, and I feel
we're noticing the same thing.
Arlene,
share.
Yeah,
Audrey Lynn, share what's going on with the market and how it's just such a the matrix is so pervasive.
it is. It is. I feel the link to me too, and I'm going, okay, there's more. Gosh, my hair is a mess, but it's okay.
It looks fine. You look
Thank you.
fine.
Thank you. Yeah.
What we're experiencing with the market is, we want to have this private market, or that's what we thought we were having, was this private market where, we have these agreements with vendors and our customers, and we basically do what we want. Well, one of the members left last month, and it really opened my eyes to what we weren't aware of, what was just kind of sliding. Technically, we are in a legal market, and the hoops that we would have to go through in order to be a approved market, we would have to have either a corporate registered market, a nonprofit entity to have the market under, and then you have to be approved, and you have to have 80% Albertans, and insurance, not just for the facility, but for the market itself, and for each vendor.
Otherwise,
So it's
otherwise,
it stops being a neighborhood event.
yeah,
And now I can't see. I have to gotta put my glasses on.
it's like a
So you just can't
logistical
be-
nightmare.
Yeah, you just can't be friends sitting together.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some ribbon slashing going on. I can feel it in my field, and I can feel the attitude of it. And so I'm just like, an Oracle girl, she talks about being the banks of the river. So I'm just noticing that, that there's a possibility to have the banks of, the river bed rather than being the water that's running through it. And noticing that, and also allowing it to inform me, because it needs to inform me, just like what you're saying. You could see that that's what you needed to do, because then when you see, I don't know how it works, but it's like, I do believe, and I've experienced that when I have this question, that new opportunities organize around it. So that's kind of, but I have to, it's character forging time.
I'm already character, and I'm pretty badly forged. I'd like to have a little rest, thanks.
Well, be careful of be careful of that request.
Just a little rest, just a little.
Why don't you say peace?
A piece
That's
of rest. Yes.
PEACE. And I just I offer that, because then peace is like to be integrous with what's happening.
Mm.
Rest could be you'd break a leg, you'd get a disease, you'd be, you know what I'm saying? That's a rest.
Well, I just started are you familiar with Rife Technology, Maureen?
Yes, yeah.
I have a Spooky 2. I have a couple of them, and I did a scan yesterday, and I'm running the program today, and I'm feeling I've already had a rest earlier. So
Do you do that for others, or?
yeah, I can do remote work as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's my experience with Rife, is that you can do it long distance. I'm interested in anything that, and what that is to me is it's making us coherent.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the journey of coherence, just like heart math has the coherent breathing patterns, and all of that. So if something can make me coherent, then I'm interested. At least in exploring it, going down that line further. But now, yeah, I think that's great.
My most recent technology is called a halo pulsar.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a magnetic field induction to disrupt the Wi-Fi and EMF around us.
Oh, fabulous.
And I've had it since Christmas Eve, and I've noticed that my intrusive thoughts are 95% gone. So there's a whole lot more peace in my field that I feel.
That's great. You know what? And it's also, Wi-Fi is an imposed structure. So any
It's all-
imposed, so we just take it that just in the sense that it's imposed, coming from the outside, rather than a movement from the inside. You know, well, let's say the focus of attention, the movement on the inside creates boundaries and meets what's on the outside. Anyway, it's just a subtle kind of thing that I want to turn more toward, is paying attention to the inside, and that determining my state of being, and rather than, so that what this will do is it'll allow your own self, if you listen, to meet the outside in a way that can meet it with just the right energetic pattern. You can't know it, but it will know exactly, because that's what it does. That's why we're still here, is because we can meet energetically what's meeting us, and physically, mentally, spiritually, and all of that. So anyway, I'm right with you on that, and good for you.
Yeah, I'm all about the technology and the tools. I can quantify the tools where I can't quantify my own experience, because I know that I'm impacted a lot by what is around me.
Yeah, because it's unconscious. It's not in our awareness. I hear you on that. I think we each have the piece of the puzzle, and we can each give energetically to the whole. And that may be your gift. I mean, obviously it is, because that's the path you're on. Just like Paul's gift, my gift, whatever it is, You don't have to know, do you? You just give it.
Yeah, I do. I want to know. I want to know. I want it to be clear.
Well, yeah, you do want that. I hear you.
When my children were small, I used to pray in the morning, God, give me clarity, clarity. Make my path clear. Yeah, still waiting.
No, yeah. Well, you've had clarity. You've had clarity, right? That's not all. But what does clarity do? If it's functioning, it's going to clear up things, right? So you have the dualism there. Yeah. Anyway, so it's good that we can all, and out of you awaken certain things in me, like Paul does, and I can feel that the yes in the person that I become when I'm with you, that what emerges from me. So I like it.
What does that mean?
It means that when your quantum entanglement of the two people, there's an emergence of a new me out of our relationship.
Right.
And it's a mixture of you and everything that you've been quantum entangled with, your whole bit with my whole bit, and then something new emerges.
But you said something about a yes emerges.
Yeah, for me, it's a yes. I like it's a yes to that.
A yes to that quantum entanglement.
It's an open. It's a cell opening for its nourishment. It's the more expansive that nourishes.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Just like your little email that you sent to me, just talking to me about my daughter. That was very nourishing. It wasn't, And sometimes nourishment can be that, it's not like it can't appear in different forms, but.
Yeah, true enough.
Okay, here's Ron giving me income tax stuff. Is it? It's not income tax stuff. What is it?
The printer.
Oh, the printer is working. Oh, the call. Oh, look what I just got. from it. This is Oracle Girl. She does. Oh my gosh, look at it. That's
Ooh,
her
nice.
drawing. The
Yep.
call. They do look, and I could wear it for Halloween. It could be my ears.
Yeah.
Prompt all beings to listen to the dream for these times. Tune others into their higher meaning. Hear the ancient instructions of the leaf people, linked to your heart seeds and recorded in your bones. Refocus your life purpose and act directly to ensure all harm, including war, is stopped. Anyway, yay! And that means our own house divided within our beingness. And then we were just reminded of that yesterday, Ron and I, of how the imposed program, the imposed from the outside, even if the outside is the mind imposing a program, a template, it can create a house divided so that you don't listen to your body. You don't have a conference call with your body. Hey,
I like that.
yeah, so that then so that you say, okay, what do I choose here? I choose to do this. I choose to listen to my body. I choose not to listen to my body. So that the paramount is a conscious choice and making that the focus of the life rather than the outcome or this is my conscious choice. I choose this.
Mm-hmm.
And you willingly accept the consequences of whatever that is. Anyway, we're playing with that. That's what we're playing with.
Nice.
So you guys are part of the play circle.
Play circle.
We're having, what do they call that? When they go for a play date.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what market analysis is, a play date.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
That was easy.
What a wonderful, magical husband I have. He brought me ears to listen to. Oh, so now we're going to have fun on Monday. Grok. Look at Grok there. Grok.
Oh no, well the Grok is here, but no, this is a post from Virtual Bacon, another artificially intelligent human being.
Oh,
And
and this is what
and
are there these their predictions or their summing up or whatever?
yeah, these are updates from the day. He
Oh,
does this every day. He puts out an update for the last 24 hours. What happened? What's of significance?
okay.
Yeah.
See, I
I
think
use
that's
this.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to be tuning in with this more and more as market analysis goes on. I've been following him for years, and he
Okay.
does great updates that I've pulled from and in order to share on market analysis. But now I'm just going to share exactly what he says. We'll go through everything. So,
Okay.
Wrapped Bitcoin taps Hyperlane to launch native wrapped Bitcoin bridge between Ethereum and Solana. So what they're doing is that they're looking for more interoperability, which is great.
Yeah.
But Midnight's been working on that for a year.
Yay! I love midnight.
Monad unveils. Monad is another firm. Unveils 7.5 million Nitro accelerator backed by Paradigm, Electric Capital, and Dragonfly. Dragonfly is actually a that's referencing we have them here in Rocky Mountain House. It's a satellite delivery company for companies like Amazon. So Amazon doesn't deliver out to where we are,
Right. Oh, I
but
see.
Dragonfly does.
I know. God, Amazon is becoming a monolith. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, it's pervasive.
Did you know a lot of people are freaking out because they're like, oh, Amazon is laying off all these people because AI is replacing them. That is not the truth. What's happening is Amazon is letting them go because the cost of their salary, they don't want to spend it on their salaries. They need the money to buy chips,
Oh,
computer chips. So it's not that AI is replacing them, it's that Amazon is simply saying, no, 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 we need more computer chips because of all the data processing we have to do.
and that's not something that human beings can do, or is it?
Well, you can't take a human being and turn it into a computer chip. No.
So that's, yeah. So the chip
Yep.
is actually processing, doing all the paperwork and all the computing to have all these
Yep.
things done. Would that would be a human job, though, wouldn't it be, in the sense of a computer? Wouldn't they
It
be?
would. It would, but it's thought that, like it's still not in production. So the chips are just being purchased. They have to still be shipped and everything like that. So there's a massive delay. AI did not replace those people.
Right.
Amazon simply let them go so that they don't have to spend the money on their salary, and they
Yeah.
make that investment in computer chips because I'm in agreement. I think they know the same thing I do, that there's going to be a war for chips. So they're just buying chips. They're not
Oh,
putting them into development. They're just buying them.
I see. I see. So
Think
it's
of it
like
this way.
investing. But what's happening to all the functions that these people did? How is that?
Oh, they're trimming things. Everything is becoming more automated, but what they're doing is that they're simply trimming. There's aspects of their business that they don't want to get into anymore. They don't want to carry. And I
Okay.
think it's like this. I think in the last 6 months, they've let go of like 30,000 employees.
And what departments were these people in? Were they in delivery?
Oh,
In delivery.
no, not delivery. These departments, they all are likely in tech.
Yeah.
Very likely in tech. I'm not sure exactly what their roles were,
Okay.
but Amazon Web Services
Yeah.
is bigger than Amazon Shipping.
Oh, the web services. Okay.
Yep, just web services. Email, sending emails around, hosting cloud services for companies, infrastructure for webs. Yeah, well, I said websites. Did I say websites? Hosting for websites, emails, you name it. Anything to do with digital communications, Amazon has a service, and by golly, they are good. They're
Yeah.
good prices and reliable. I have a friend that actually went through the process to become an authorized Amazon services, web services provider.
Uh,
And the integrity that they have in their system is incredible. That's why they're so big. But what's happening is they are simply stockpiling chips,
I
computer
get it.
chips,
Because
because the demand will be high.
they're prepping. They're prepping like some
Yep.
people are buying up canned tuna.
Yep. Or bullets.
Yeah. For the
Yeah.
price that they're at now, not 5 times the price they'll be in maybe 3 years or whatever.
Exactly. Because you remember, what are chips made of? Rare earth metals, silver and gold specifically. So to them, the salary has less of a return on investment
Yeah. Yeah.
than the computer chips when silver is at $100.
Yeah, and that's why corporations, aren't going to be the survival for the human being. I don't know. Anyway, just for that reason. Absolutely, I get
It's
it.
yeah. There's a song that I've was recently introduced to by Aurora, and the words she said are beautiful. When what is it? When the last tree has fallen and the rivers are poisoned, you cannot eat money.
Yeah,
All
I,
right,
I
moving
tell
on.
you, yeah.
Oh,
I no, I woke up this morning and it was like the future is untenable. It's not survivable, and I really
mhm.
felt the depth of that.
Yep.
Um, that's a really hard one, and it's not for me because I'm on my way out. Believe me,
Yeah.
but
You
it's
know,
future. The future.
we're Audrey Lynn and I spend about an hour to 90 minutes every morning reading the Kolbrin, which is a ancient scripture about 3,500 years old. It's the most censored book. It was the most censored book on the planet. And what it's really interesting because it talks about Earth changes and the cycles that Mother Earth goes through. And of course, there's a period of time called, well, it's the visitation of the destroyer. And it describes in incredible detail what happens when the Earth goes through that cycle, when it goes through that change. And they describe it even with the language patterns are amazing, where one of the descriptions they give is that the Earth itself, because it's vibrating at such a high frequency that the formation of Earth that we call the crust becomes like quicksand all over the whole globe, because the Earth is vibrating so much that it no longer keeps its form. And they talk about the destroyer in the sky, the dragon that swallows the sun, and so on and so forth. Well, what's interesting is that there's a section in the Kolbrin where it speaks of a time that I resonate with as we're going through it, as we see the decline of mankind. And the writing, it says, "Oh, that we would be visited by the destroyer again." Longing for that reset, because it cannot continue as it is.
No. And it was a very deep recognition of that. And, Kali, the destroyer in Indian mythology, I'm just thinking of the creation and the destroyer and, how it all comes together for the reset and all of
that. That's funny.
Isn't it amazing? Market analysis turns into earth changes and resets, cataclysmic events, post-apocalyptic. It's so crazy, Maureen. There's a section where it says that the horrors that occur to Earth. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, there she is. Kali.
Hang on.
Yeah,
I'm coming. There we go.
Kali. Yeah.
Kali.
Yeah.
Goddess of change.
That's a very beneficent name for her. And I'm also reminded on a very mundane kind of thing of Jean-Luc Picard of Star Trek. That one of the episodes is where he visits this world and he has a whole lifetime in it. And what it is it's a virtual world that was created by this culture that was destroyed. And they somehow put this encapsulated world to show, to forever live that this is how we lived. And he lived a whole lifetime in it. And at the end, he played the flute, which was not something that he ever did, of course, on his starship. But at the end, they end him up with a little flute in his that he has as a memorial of this. That he because it was like a dream. I think he was ill or something, and he had this dream. But it was really this invasion of a whole lifetime. A dream, a fantasy, kind of. Anyway, I just thought, that's kind of like that. If we were going to be destroyed, how would we want, that space capsule? How would we want to? What legacy would we live as a culture? And that the Kali is a beautiful metaphor for our complexity. And what a mind does when we have a mind and emotions that are dysfunctional, what kind of worlds we can create. That whole thing. What would it be to live a life without that kind of mind emotional dysfunction? And like the natives lived, even though they did fight and they did all that kind of stuff, they didn't have, and I shouldn't even say that I don't know, but to have a sense of belonging, like everyone had a place, in the culture, and there was no outcasting or, what would it be like not to have to deal with that? And, even now into my 80s, having to deal with old trauma, what would it be like if I didn't have those roots, or if I could just live with a body sensation of contraction or space or pain if it got too much, and then I'd know how to relieve it, the pain, because something's going on in the body, it's too contracted or, whatever, but no story around it, where we get lost in the story and the emotions of it that create, even compound the illness more with all the hormonal release and the loss of the sense of well-being.
I've often wondered what it would be like to raise children in that fashion, but that requires adults who have done or do their work all the time.
Yeah, and look I'm 80. It's like I can't raise a child now. I'll tell you, I do not have the energy to raise a child. There's no way. But I love them, but in very measured amounts, just because I can't process their energy. I can't control them. And maybe that's the problem right there.
But you see, that's where with the indigenous and where we were as a culture as well, is we had mom, dad, children, and aunties and uncles and grandparents all within the same community.
Everybody was related. It was like, you went to, and you could see your mirroring. So different aspects of who you were could be acknowledged, and the live ground for who you were to be would be fertilized. It wouldn't just be, I have to be like mom, or I'm nothing, or I'm not lovable, or whatever, whatever story we come up with. But, I don't know. So, this morning, what we're doing now, I'll just share. If do you want to know, I don't mean to just, would it be okay to share what we're doing?
This is what we're for. Yeah.
Ron and I went to our friend Karen, she's a biofield tuner and philosopher and toner. She also tones, and she does all kinds of a myriad of things. But what we did, we're starting with the endocrine system and the limbic system, and specifically the hypothalamus. And we're asking the biofield, the body, the fascia, whatever you want to call that intelligent thing that what do you call it, from stem cells, comes from, the instructions of what's needed to thrive in the outer world. So we're coming from that kind of thing. Okay, so that is the bigger context. So we're starting with the hypothalamus, and we're asking for whatever makes whatever brings a happy expression to the hypothalamus. And we're toning, and then we're just seeing what instructions come up to do, and listening to that and kind of riffing off of that. So that's what we're doing now, is we're going to start working. For 2 weeks, we're going to focus just on that biofield. What is it that comes up? And what are the things that you remember, Ron? He can't remember right now.
I'm not engaged.
He's not engaged right now. So anyway, that's kind of where we're going. So what makes my hypothalamus right now, who's the manager of the endocrine system, basically. And she showed us where it lived and what it looked like and the different parts of it. So we kind of know, and so we did some tuning about that. It's kind of in the middle of the head, and just asking for that to be released and to have a happy expression. And I'm sure the Rife machine would be part of that whole, because you're carrying that energy in your field. So just part of this is that inclusion of this unknown, kind of disregarded magic of the Rife machine, that makes perfect sense. And if we actually looked at biology and not pharmaceutical solutions. Yeah. So anyway, so I want to bring that in a conscious kind of way. Oh, yes. And the big thing is to make the conscious choice, to make that primary. And even if we just want to watch TV all day, conscious choice is primary. We listen to the body. We say, I don't want to do that. I'm going to eat, donuts today. That's what I'm going to do.
I want coffee too.
I want coffee. Oh, definitely coffee. No. But also noticing that coffee isn't the primary reason to live, but, a nice adjunct. So one of the things we're doing is like waiting 90 minutes after we wake up to let the natural cortisol have run its course with us and awaken without coffee. Anyway, so we're trying, so this is what we're experimenting and playing with right now. So
with the right technology, there is a program for caffeine.
Yeah.
And L-theanine, so that you play them together and you get the caffeine in the brain right now.
Is it the L-theanine or is it? Yeah, L-theanine.
Yeah,
that's a good one. And the adenosine, because that's what blocks caffeine, or that's what caffeine blocks, the feeling tired.
Adenosine.
Yeah, adenosine. That's it.
Yeah,
adenosine. Yeah. So, and it's to wake those up in our body and say, hey, I see you. You're important to me. I want you to have happy expression. Whatever. Because it can all.
I want my coffee cup to have a happy expression of emptiness.
What can I have? Yeah. And I want the coffee to taste good too, and the good water, and yeah. Anyway,
and you know what? Water is by far the most important mineral, because without it, you cannot make coffee.
Absolutely.
What is the primary intelligence of the planet?
Oh, there Ron's coming in. Water's the primary intelligence. He listened to Veda. What's her name? Veda Aden.
Oh, yes. She's done some really cool work.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting thing. Have you heard of the company called Focused Life Force Energy, Maureen? So what they do is they do quantum entanglement with either physical objects or earth-based things like residences. And when I was living in Edmonton, in the wintertime, the glass would freeze over and it would just be a mess, how ice is. And that was because of the Wi-Fi, and I lived within 50 feet of a power pole. Well, I got this FLFE service and noticed that, yes, the ice still formed, but at the edges were these beautiful crystal patterns. So I sent off a picture of that to the business and said, it must be working, because I wouldn't get crystals like this if it wasn't working. Can't hear you, sweetie.
What a beautiful experience you had. Wow, that's a really grounded, and Emoto did this so long ago. He did it, and she's really taken it and bringing it to the world in a new way, in a very feminine way. Yeah. He was a delightful too. I really enjoyed him too. But wow, I love that, to have that experience. Can I share that with people?
Yeah, actually, I'll send you the website, and you can go check them out. They have integrity that I've not witnessed before, in that you can try their service for completely free. No credit card, no debit, no hook, no nothing, for 2 weeks. And if you like it, well, then you carry on bravely and you pay for it. But otherwise, they're free. Okay. As well as they have a service where when you purchase the service like what we have here, they have a thing called Pay It Forward. So you can put a lower rated service on another property. So I've done this for my children, where I've put the service on their home, and it's there forever, or until the equipment doesn't work. And it brings the space up to the level of 500 on the Hawkins scale of consciousness.
Oh my God, that's love.
Yeah, this place is at 560.
Well, I think that's the next one, the next big thing. I think that I can remember 500 and 560 being like,
Yeah.
hey, you know what I really wanted to do was tell your story. That's what I wanted permission
Oh,
for.
okay. Yeah,
Because
sure. Totally.
that's a beautiful story. And yes, I am interested in it. I don't know how many doors I can open, but that might be one of them because it sounds like it's important.
Would you, I think I took either pictures or video. If I can find them, would you like to see them?
Yes, I would.
Okay. I'll play hide and seek.
I've got to eat breakfast. I'm really, and I can't not and be here fully with you guys. So I tried standing up and doing that. I can't do it. So, so maybe sometime, you know, Paul, I link you, of course, to Paul, because of course that's how I met you. So just like Den is linked to all of this too. So it's all part of that quantum entanglement. And Judy offering and freely giving, you know, through her generosity, we're as a group able to do this. And I think, you know, just good. And I still have and so today, I just want you to know that today was the call. Wait, can you see it? It's upside down, but it's the call. Thank you. See you Monday, Paul, hopefully. And don't worry if you have to stay, and we'll do it, whatever is the right time. This is really an important time energetically to pre-up what movement is going to be, you know, to really let it have its way inside astrologically. Really important. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 On my list
I'll
of
finish.
things to purchase is ice cream.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That'll be nice.